A breach of trust charge against former Vice-Admiral Mark Norman. We're joined now by CTV's Mercedes Stephenson. Mercedes, these documents were filed at the Ontario court just hours ago. In fact, today you've had a chance to go through them. What do we know so far?
Not a lot of information in those court documents, and Marie Henein, Vice-Admiral Norman's lawyer, says this has actually been characteristic of the entire investigation for them, that they've struggled to find out much information. And we've seen that really right from the start. You'll remember that when Vice-Admiral Norman was the Vice Chief of the Defence Staff, second in command of the Canadian Forces, he was suspended, and there was no explanation. This eerie silence that left people speculating. What did he do? Is he a spy for China or for Russia? Did he sexually assault someone? And then it came out that no, there was a suspicion that he had leaked documents or information from documents that were considered cabinet confidence, so secret documents from cabinet, talking about a resupply ship for the Navy and the Liberal government's plan to review that and decide whether or not it should be awarded to the firm the Conservatives had given it to. Today, he has been charged with one count of breach of trust. And that is a charge that people will probably remember from Mike Duffy and a few other political trials. That is the charge he's going to be facing. It took them about 8 months to lay this charge from the time he was removed from his job, and he was under investigation for months before that and under surveillance. So a very long investigation winding to a close.
I want to get to that charge. You brought up Marie Henein's, Norman's lawyer. Let's bring up a statement that she publicized a few hours ago. She says his love of this country and ensuring its military strength has been his only guiding principle. He remains unwavering in his commitment, confident in the knowledge that he has always acted in the best interests of this country. This is a very sad day for an extraordinary Canadian who we should be celebrating rather than prosecuting. So obviously she's taking a very strong stand on this. The breach of trust charge, how difficult is that to prove in court? It's
extremely tough, especially when it comes to political files. And that's why you've seen a number of court cases where there was charges in the political arena like this and there wasn't a conviction. You have to prove some very difficult things. The first one's easy. It's that you have to prove someone's an official. He's clearly that.
Nobody's contesting that.
But when you start getting into, did he materially or personally gain in any way? You have a judge who's already ruled in this case when they were talking about releasing the documents publicly to say there was no evidence, there was no smoking gun that Mark Norman materially benefited or personally benefited from that. You can bet that the defense lawyers are going to be parsing out exactly what that judge said and using it. Sources close to Mark Norman tell me if this goes to trial, you can expect them to essentially put the government on trial. They will talk about how often the government leaks to reporters, how many people leak to reporters, because that's really what threw this into the spotlight, was a public report about that. And the question of, where's the proof that he gained financially? Now, we obviously haven't seen everything that the RCMP has. We don't know. But certainly, if this trial goes ahead, it could be not only damaging for Mark Norman, it could be extremely damaging for the government as well.
Suspended last January 2017, regardless of the outcome with this, do you think that he could ever get his job back or reinstated?
No. He will never get his job back. He will never go back to being the Vice Chief of the Defence Staff. His reputation has taken a tremendous hit, even though many inside the military do not believe the allegations to be true. And certainly sources that are close to Mark Norman have told me that, if anything, he will sue the government for what's happened, for the public silence that led many to speculate on what he may or may not be guilty of. And in this case, too, Omar, I think it's interesting to note that in all of this, the RCMP have said there's a second person, and that second person they also suspect, but they've never named them and they haven't charged them. That'll be something else, both in his public and legal defense, you can expect to see picked up.
Lots to track, and you've been tracking it from the very beginning. Mercedes Stephenson, thank you so much. And we should note that Mark Norman, according to the RCMP, is expected in court on April 10th, so we will be tracking that story for some time.